Hello. Hello. Is it everything okay? Can everybody hear me and see me? Okay, good. So I will start to show my match against Artur Yusupov in 1991. Hola. Usually I try to show several games, at least two games, but today I started later than usual, so for today my program is just analyze game one from this match. Simultaneous? What you mean? Simultaneous. Okay, so in game one, I was white and started with e4. Repertory of my opponent against e4 in that time was quite narrow, so he usually played French defense or e5 open Spanish. So e5. After bishop b5, he usually played knight f6, castle, knight takes e4, d4, b5, bishop b3, d5, d takes e5, bishop e6, this line. Well, so. But against me, he decided to play e6, obviously. Hello. Obviously, it wasn't a surprise for me, but after d4, d5, knight d2, usually he played knight f6 line, e5, knight fd7, bishop d3, c5, c3, knight c6, knight e2, c takes d4, c takes d4, f6, and now white has two options. Very sharp option, knight f4, for example, knight takes d4, queen h5, king e7, e takes f6, knight takes f6, knight g6, check takes. This is one option, and another option is more quiet, just take on f6, knight takes f6, castle, bishop d6, knight f3. Also possible, of course, to play c3, c5, f4. It's another line. If knight c6, knight d f3. Thanks for subscription. Okay, knight d2 is totally playable. Knight c3 it's another line. e5 is another line. Merhaba. Hello. So I'm doing fine, thank you. So nice to see many spectators today. But c5, okay, of course, I cannot tell that Yusupov never played c5 before, but at least knight f6 was his main option. So c5 was a little bit surprise for me from Yusupov. Türkçe biraz konuşuyorum, tamam. Ne sormak istiyorsun? So after c5, okay, I hope if you see my stream first time, I hope you will be not disappointed. FIDE Master Title Study, I don't know which book you mean, because there are many topic of books. So if, for example, you want to know a lot of interesting things of chess, I strongly recommend you excellent book of my previous opponent in matches in the cycle in 1991, Leonid Yudasin. Name of book is 1000 Myths of Chess. Okay, he is not explaining the chess variation, but a lot of stories of chess, a lot of interesting ideas about chess. Okay, about c5, I put this sign because, of course, this a normal move, and this is even the most popular move in this position. But he wasn't played often by Artur Yusupov. Because of so especially from this opponent, it was a surprise. Title again, yes. No. 1000 years myths of chess. In Russian language, because his original language is Russian, it calls тысячелетний миф шахмат. So, 1000 years myth of chess. It's a very long book, very interesting book. I strongly recommend. But it's hardly book if you want to improve your chess level. If you want to improve your chess level, you need another book. Depends of you what you want. Is it end game or opening or strategy or tactics? Well, but let's come back to the game. So after c5, I took on d5. Another popular option here is knight f3. And for example, after a6, white can play d takes c5, bishop takes c5, bishop d3. And try to play without capture on d5. For example, if knight c6, castle, if knight e7, a3, and then b4, bishop b2 coming. So, for example, Peter Svidler likes to play this system with white very much. But I took on d5, and now black has choice. Artur took with pawn. Another playable option here is take with queen after knight f3, c takes d4, bishop c4, queen d6. Other moves are possible as well, like queen d8 or queen d7. But queen d6 is the most popular. For example, castle, knight f6, knight b3, knight c6. Knight takes d4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, a6. Many games was played from this position. You don't know what to do after the opening. Okay, it depends which opening you are playing and which position you can reach after the opening. I am fine, thank you. About Firuja performance, well, I didn't follow yet this tournament. Okay. Only heard that it was very strange game, Firuja Carlsen, when Magnus played g5 after bishop b5 in Espanol. But I didn't see this game, only heard. Best positional books, probably if you want to improve your strategy, a very good book was written by Boris Gelfand about positional chess. Well, but so e takes d5. I played now white has choice again. I played knight f3. Another possibility is play bishop b5, but after bishop b5, black has interesting option to play bishop d7. If queen e2, bishop e7, d takes c5, knight f6, and then castle, rook e8. Black has compensation for the pawn. Something like this. And if bishop takes d7, black has choice. So knight takes d7 is normal variation. I mean this line, but also interesting line is queen takes d7, which Viktor Lvovich Korchnoi played in this position. Idea is that after knight gf3, black has queen e6 check, and obviously white cannot play knight e5. Okay, maybe they can, but it's hardly promising because f6 is coming. And white is not losing the piece, but queen g4 looks like only move. Black can take, and c takes d4. Now h5 is threat, so h3 is only move, and okay, it cannot be good for white. So queen e2 is possible, it's normal move, but after knight c6, black has playable position. So queen takes d7, it was idea of Viktor Korchnoi. Also possible to play knight c6, of course. Доброго вечора. Okay, so isolated pawn, it's typical for this variation. White has many possibilities to give opponent isolated pawn. So knight f3, he played knight c6. Another possibility is knight f6, but now, of course, after bishop takes d7, it's better to take with knight, because queen takes d7, castle, it's not good, because rook e1 is coming. So knight takes d7, castle, bishop e7, it's theoretical line. For example, d takes c5, knight takes c5, knight b3, knight ce4, knight fd4, queen d7. Like idea of queen d7 to prevent knight f5. Okay, but he played knight c6, also possible to play a6, because now white already took on d5, so they have no Swidler system, which I explained it. I mean, here d takes c5, Swidler played. Okay, so a6 is possible as well. And after a6, bishop e2, for example, c4, castle, bishop d6, it's b3, sorry, bishop d6, b3, takes, knight e7. This position also many games was played. White can also take on c5, bishop takes c5 and knight b3, and now according to theory it's better for black, bishop b6. Bishop a7 looks like more natural, but after bishop a7, white has queen e2 check, and endgame after queen e7 is good for white, and if knight e7, bishop e3, it's positionally good for white to exchange this bishop. Yeah. If white is doing same plan after bishop b6, difference is that after queen e2, knight e7, bishop e3, knight c6, black can take bishop with queen, not with rook on a7, and this position is quite active for black because they have obvious plan, castle and bishop g4. So bishop b6, according to theory, is the best move for black. But okay, knight c6 played Artur, bishop b5, bishop d6. Another option here is queen e7 is possible. With queen e2, c takes d4. Also, c takes d4 is possible immediately. It's another theory. Okay, so bishop d6 he played. Çok teşekkürler for subscription. So d takes c5, bishop takes c5, classical variation with isolated pawns. Castle, knight e7, rook e1, castle, knight b3, bishop d6. Bishop b6 is possible as well, but after bishop b6, white can play bishop e3. Try to exchange this bishop. After bishop g4 is also possible. Take, 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 take. Knight b4, queen e4, bishop f3, g takes f3. It was my game against Dohoyan, but according to modern theory, black has enough resources to equalize in this position. So probably, objectively, for white is strong, not take immediately on b6, but play something like c3 here. Okay, so bishop d6, bishop g5. I play, in that moment, bishop g5 was the most popular move in this position. Now, bishop d3 is very popular here. Idea to prevent bishop g4, because bishop g4 obviously doesn't work because of primitive refutation. And if h6, h3. And then white can play c3, bishop c2. If, for example, if knight f5, it's not necessary, but possible. White can play c3 to prepare bishop c2, queen d3. It was my game against Mavidiaro. I was blacks. But I played bishop g5. He played bishop g4. In next move in match, I mean in game 3, Artur played here queen c7. Idea that white has planned to exchange bishops, bishop h4 and bishop g3. So idea of queen c7 to prevent this. If bishop h4, black has knight f5 here. And after queen d5, obviously black can take and take on h2. This is good for black. So, and after bishop g3, black can take and play knight e7 with totally playable position. So queen c7 probably is a little bit stronger than bishop g4. But here he played bishop g4, bishop h4, rook e8, bishop g3. It was theory in that moment. Queen b6, and main theory was bishop d3 here, a5, bishop takes h7, king f8, and black has good compensation because there are two threats, a4 and g6. h6 is possible as well, but after h6, white is slightly better. After queen d2, for example, after a5, now probably queen e3 is possible. So a5 was important trick, I remember. Not prevent bishop h7, but I played a4. It was probably even novelty in that time. Later I played same line against Raphael Vaganyan, great expert of French defense, and I won. Idea of a4 that black cannot play. Okay, if black plays e6, bishop takes c6, that plays the b takes 6, queen is not that white has possibility to queen 95. Mid black of course is a good position, but d4. I'm not speaking to empty. Виключ. Мікрофон виключу. Так, секундочку. Так, мікрофон. Hello. Мене чути? Алло? Алло? Hello? Мене чути? Good. Good. So, we will continue. So, a4 is good move. And this position is quite pleasant for white because black has isolated pawn and white pieces are not less active than black ones. So black has no good compensation for isolated pawn. Hello. h6 played Arthur. Okay, maybe not only move, of course. Maybe not the best one. But what to do? Rook a8 is possible to consider. Black has several moves. But okay, so he played h6. Just waiting move. After rook a8, probably I would play anyway queen d2, and after a6, bishop takes c6. Black cannot take with knight because rook takes e8 and queen takes d5. Okay, maybe even immediately queen takes d5 is more precise, because if rook takes e8, rook takes e8, queen takes d5, probably rook e2, no, rook e2, knight d4, so it's also very good for white. Okay, so queen d2 anyway white wants, and then probably knight fd4 is coming in some moment. So quite promising position for white. So h6 played Arthur, and after queen d2, he took on f3 and played rook a d8 now. So he didn't equalize from the opening. I'm better because pawn d5 is isolated. I have strong bishop, so I have advantage here. But okay, it's question how big is my advantage. I played f4. Not necessary, of course, white has many moves in this position. So king g2 is normal move, for example, to avoid tricks knight f5 and then g3 in some moment. But okay, so f4 it's possible, but not necessary. He played a6. Now I can take on c6. Probably he planned to take with queen, because take with... maybe now also he can take with knight as well, because after rook takes, queen takes d5, now rook e2 looks like totally enough for black. So now he is prepared for this after rook a d8. So he wants to play a6 and take with knight. If I will take on e8 and d5, he will play rook e2. So this is his plan. I have several choices. For example, king g2 was logical. After a6, just played bishop d3 with quite pleasant position. But I played f4. Okay, it's double-edged moves, because I'm not protecting g3 pawn, and somewhere e4 square can be useful for black knights. So, okay, but it's aggressive one, so I played bishop f1, so my plan is to play bishop g2 and probably attack pawn d5. Always I have a5 resource, black needs to be careful. He played rook d6, so he is looking for contraplay against my king. So in some variation, he has idea to play rook g6 and attack my pawn g3. Okay. a5, normal move. Queen c7. Of course, in each move, white has alternatives. For example, instead a5, bishop g2 was possible. But first of all, I need to be sure if everything is okay with my stream. Okay. So a5, queen c7, knight c5, h5. Oh, my king is a little bit weak, and he is trying to create contraplay against my king. He wants to play h4 and then to see what we'll do. Of course, white has good position, many moves are possible. Rook a3, more or less logical. h4, g4. Now, however, my king is a little bit shaky. Maybe objectively I have good position, but black has good practical chances. So again, we can see a weakness of f4 from practical reason, because for example, if I have pawn on f3, my position is more solid. If h5, h4, I have g3, g4, and my pawn g4 will be protected. With hanging pawns f4 and g4, black has chances, tactical chances. Of course, white has many trumps, but okay, position is not so clear. Is bad for black not have bishop? Difficult to say. So, white bishop is quite strong, but probably black knights are not so bad here. Of course, white can play here something like b4, if h4, bishop h3, something like this. Takes, rook g6, king g2, prevent knight f5, and it's also possible. Yes, king g2, rook h1, also possible, yes. But I played rook a3, h4, g4, so probably my plan was to utilize his pawn h4 like target for attack. He played rook f6. Now my pawn is hanging, f5. Maybe I can play, but it doesn't look so obvious. But maybe it's a good move. For example, knight e5. Now, okay, so my pawn g4 is hanging. Knight f3 is not threat because rook on a3. But okay, I can consider, for example, this. And so my idea, if queen takes c5, rook takes e5, if queen takes c2, rook e3, and this pin is very unpleasant. So probably black already in big trouble also. If queen c7, maybe g5 is coming. King f8 obviously is losing move. So f5. Okay, knight e5 looks like only a logical move. I don't see any other moves. Other logical moves. Okay, knight e5, queen f4. What else black can do? Knight g6 probably, but after knight g6, let me think about this. Queen d. Queen d4, knight f3 check. After rook f3, rook takes e1, and I cannot take knight because my rook is hanging. So knight g6 is idea of black, and now my knight is hanging, but probably I can play queen b4, however, to defend my rook. And what to do with black? It's not so easy question because my rook e1 is defended, and black are under very unpleasant pin on e line. Queen e3, no, queen e3. Queen e3 looks strange because knight f3 check and rook takes e1. No, but queen b4 looks like good idea, by the way. Bishop h3 instead of queen f4. Bishop h3, it's strange for me because black can take. And after bishop g4, queen takes c5. White lost a pawn. Some compensation after rook e3, but why? What is the reason to give the pawn? So queen f4 looks like interesting, but sorry, I need to. I will come back in 2 minutes. So I'm here again. Okay, I remember that during the game I calculated rook takes e5, queen takes e5, knight d7, this idea, but queen takes b2, rook b3, queen a1, the best move, knight f6, queen takes f6, and it seems me like something unclear, but maybe even here white is good. Also probably black can take with pawn, with if this, but I don't know. Knight c6, queen takes d5 is coming, and black has no time for rook e1. Knight e5 is possible. But I remember this position, rook takes b7, and it seems me that not so clear. Also, maybe white is better here. If black cannot organize attack against my king, so black has problem with his pawn on a6, so probably this is a good idea, but maybe queen f4 is even stronger. Who knows? But very important to see after knight g6, queen b4 idea to protect the rook. I don't remember, unfortunately, if I consider it. So rook takes e5, knight d7, surely I was considered, but if I was considered queen f4, I don't remember. So f5 was interesting alternative, but I played knight d3. A little bit strange probably with connection of rook a3 because my rook now is blocked somehow, but we'll see. So knight d4 he played. Maybe not necessary move, but black needs to do some. Maybe rook d8 was possible to play to avoid the pin, but okay, it's concrete move, so he has threats against c2, against also knight f3 is obvious threat, so but after knight e5 both these threats doesn't work because knight takes c2 is just losing move. It's easy. So he played knight ec6. So he is giving me some material. What is this? I'm thinking now. Certainly I have quite a good position, but okay, I took the piece. Logical decision. So why not? Rook takes e1, knight takes d4. White has material advantage and it doesn't look like black compensation is totally enough here. I need to be careful with my king, of course, but it doesn't look like something really dangerous, at least now. So he played rook e4. He's trying to create some threats against my pawn, and now it looks like white is very close to win. So probably he made just mistakes. So knight d4 and knight c6, he just blundered at knight takes c6 and knight takes d4. Because in this position, black has some normal moves which which at least not losing material. For example, rook e6, totally normal move to avoid the pin. So it looks like he is just blundered. So knight c6, he blundered, and after this, objectively, I should win in this position. If queen takes f4, I have queen takes e1, and obviously black has no enough compensation for the piece. Of course, possible to take and take on d4, but it looks like technically winning for white. So two pawns is not enough compensation here for the bishop. But he played rook e4, and now I have two minor pieces against rook, so obvious advantage, and very difficult to explain now why I didn't play knight e2. So natural move, and all is protected. Bishop g2 is prepared. Somewhere I want to play rook h3. So rook c3 also can be threat. So objectively, after knight e2, it looks like I have excellent winning chances. Hard to believe that I didn't see knight e2 during the game, but I choose knight f5. Probably I decide that knight f5 is even stronger. But probably it wasn't true. But after knight e2, frankly speaking, I don't see real chances for black to survive in this position. White has many plans. Rook c3, rook d3, rook h3, somewhere bishop g2 is possible. So this position should be winning for white. But I played knight f5, so probably I decide that this is even stronger. But it's very strange if you see such a solid move like knight e2, what is the reason to look for some complications? Okay, but I played knight f5, strange choice. He took on f4. Also he could take with queen. Okay, but if he is taken with queen, well, he has no attacking chances anymore. So, and white probably can win this position. Not immediately, but with some tactical job. So rook takes f4, certainly the better practical chances, because black is trying to play with queens. Now my pawn on g4 is attacked, so I need to defend. I played f3. Maybe it's not the best idea. Also possible to consider bishop h3 or bishop e2. So both of these moves are possible, but frankly speaking, I still don't see any reason to give f4 pawn if knight. So after knight e2, it looks like black has no serious counterplay here, and white has many possibilities to improve his position. So knight f5 looks like mistake, frankly speaking. So after rook takes f4, okay, now bishop e2 was possible, maybe, but okay, after bishop e2, g6 is coming, so knight is up. But after g6, rook c3, queen e5. rook e3, rook c3, queen e5, only move, but okay, maybe. Rook c6 is not impossible because knight is. No, knight e7, no, because this my bishop is hanging, so rook c6 is possible as well. Rook c6 may be possible as well. Yes, this is not so clear position because my piece is not coordinated well, and okay, also I can play bishop h3, but anyway, so I cannot explain what is reason to play knight f5, frankly speaking. Hard to believe that I was in real-time trouble already, and I think, no, okay. What I missed, I don't remember. But I played f3, so my idea to have a good knight. Now if g6, probably rook c3 is strong, and now rook c6 is not possible because knight e7, rook takes c6. Rook takes f3, rook c8 check, and this position looks like very close to win, or maybe even rook c3 is possible. But he took on f5, so he is pieced down, but my king is really weak, so he has he has 2 pawns against piece, but now it's not easy. Okay, anyway, it looks like objectively this kind of compensation is not totally enough. I played rook c3, queen f2 looks like logical alternative to defend against queen g3 check, and also there is question. I have feelings that instead rook takes c6, big queen takes f4, you mean, no, queen takes, yes, queen takes f4, yes. You are totally right, yes. So probably it was my idea that he cannot defend against this, so it's a very deep idea. And okay, probably I have seen knight e2, but I wanted to catch his rook by this creative way, but it's very complicated. Even d4 is possible to consider now, so to prevent rook c3. Of course, like something like rook c, it looks like very good position for. But it is not reason to avoid. So I still like knight e2, and after knight e2, very hard to see serious contraplay from black. If he is taking f4 position, at least sharp. Okay, but objectively, maybe even here. So I played queen f2. It's a big question for me if black has enough compensation for the piece, and how to. Because pieces. Prepare rook c3 in beta version. h4 pawn is hanging, so queen f4 is possible, for example, but after queen f4, white can play rook a3 and okay, maybe rook g5, king h1, rook g3, something like this. So looking for practical chances. Okay, but maybe not rook e3, maybe rook d3 is better to prepare rook d4. So objectively, it looks like still very good for me, but I played rook c3. Maybe queen f2 was stronger. So now check and queen e1. Now queen is unpleasant. I cannot play queen f2 now because rook g5 is coming. Thanks for subscribing. Support of my channel is very important for me. Now it's unpleasant. So rook c3 probably was a mistake. So queen f2 was much more solid and probably white still have good winning chances. But after rook c3, situation is changed. Good evening. Queen e1. Now I cannot play with okay, with queen. Okay, queen g4, but queen g4 g6. But maybe queen g4. No, queen g4. Yes, g6, and I cannot play queen d4 because rook g5 check. So my queen is not active anymore, and his queen is really active. So rook c3 was mistake. I played king h2, but now, okay, queen e5. So now it's rook g5, queen f4. Okay, now I consolidate more or less the position. So, okay, probably some same here. So f4, rook d3 for rook g5, rook g3. Is it same position like in the game or not? Yes, rook d3, same position like in the game. And I played rook d4. Okay, so after queen f2, queen f4, what? So after g5, king h1, rook g3, same position as in the game. So probably rook c3 wasn't mistake, if I can have same position. Okay, let's see. So rook g3, I played rook d4. Of course, queen f3, it's good for me. Bishop g2, I have target on b7. But he played queen g5. Now I played rook g4. So I'm giving the pawn. Why? Not so easy to understand this solution. Okay, probably move 38. Already time trouble was possible and I just wanted to simplify position, even with giving the pawn. But objectively at the moment black has no serious threats. So for example, white can do something. Maybe c3 was normal move. But the problem what I want, how I will improve my position after g6. Probably this is not so easy because I cannot play queen d2, rook g1 is coming and queen g3 mates. So what is my plan here? Okay, but I can try something. For example, I can try bishop g2 to prepare rook g4 in beta version. Or I can play just king h2, for example. h3, h2, h3, king h2, sorry. Rook is trapped. So h3 is possible. So c3 was a very practical decision here, and I still have good winning chances. At least looks like. Okay, probably I afraid something like this with threat rook takes f3. Yes, rook takes h4, rook takes f3 is possible. Bishop e2, rook g4 in which moment? Here, bishop e2. Okay, bishop e2, I would afraid queen c1 and queen takes b2 probably. But okay, c3 looks like very solid move to have everything protected. So my rook is protected, my b2 pawn is protected, so h3 not possible. Okay, queen f5, it's possible. Probably I afraid this, but I have bishop g2. I can simply protect the pawn. Yes. Why not? So rook g4 is looks like a panic move. Probably it was time trouble, very likely, because move 38 was, so probably it was I afraid some f4 instead, bishop g2, f4 after queen f5, f4. Maybe possible, but yes, maybe possible as well. But now queen g4 probably with idea to prepare rook f3. But okay, I like bishop g2, so my pawn f3 can be useful for defense. So if it's not totally necessary, why I should play f4, I don't understand. So bishop g2 I like. Now pawn h4 is hanging also. So c3 was very practical and very good move, and white still have good winning chances. So rook g4 is panic. So I'm giving him the pawn, and now black has 3 pawns against piece, and my king is quite weak. So black has good chances for draw. b4. Queen takes b7, queen takes a5. Black has contraplay because queen e1 check and queen g3 is coming. So I played b4, he activated his queen and he has threats. And queen d4 and I made perpetual, okay, not perpetual check, so probably I just offer a draw. This position even looks like dangerous already for me. So he accepted draw. If there is no mistake in the text. Okay, so he can play check. King h1 probably was my idea. If h3, queen e2 check, and he cannot play king d6 because queen h2. But okay, he can just give perpetual check. So after queen h5, he agreed to draw. So, okay, it was game one. What can I say? So I outplayed. Okay, if there is reason for panic and how big was time trouble, I don't remember how big was time trouble. Okay, objectively, wasn't reason for panic. It's if if player has panic, it's not good. It's obvious, but everybody has nervous, and probably in this moment I wasn't totally calm and made mistake rook g4. So I outplayed my opponent in opening. After the opening, I had clear advantage. A male. Okay, I will explain firstly about game. Then he mistaken. He gave me two pieces against rook, and objectively I was much better. The most technical way was to play knight e2. I played knight f5. It was maybe also good, but much more complicated. And then I made mistake rook g4, and after probably draw was logical result. I'm not giving a mail for everybody, but if you want to contact me, you can write me your email address, and I will write you from my email personally. So please write your email address. I will contact you if you want. By this way, it's totally possible. So please just write your email address if you want this. So in my next videos, I am planning to continue this match. It was 8 games match, and after 2 games tie break. So okay, I will write. Ksomu Malava. Ksomu Malava. And after Ksomu Malava, gmail.com, Gmail, okay. Gmail.com. Ksomu Malava. Okay, I will check. Ksomu Malava, gmail.com. I have been trying contact. Yes, I respond you. I asked you to write something about yourself, and okay, so in my next videos I will continue this match, of course, probably also another topics is possible to consider, another matches, but in nearest future I want to analyze games from this Malava. It was me. Against Maurizi. It was funny match, but I made too many mistakes in this match. Okay, maybe one day I will consider in Twitch this match. Okay, I will write for myself. Like this Twitch match against Maurizi. So, okay, time to sleep. Okay, in Ukraine it's 11:25, so I agree that more or less time to sleep. Because of this, for today I decide to comment only one game. Usually I'm commenting more. Okay, so thank you for your attention. Good night.